There's been a lot going on in late 2022 and early 2023. Here are some of the key patron safety stories over the past several months. An attack at a basketball tournament. This is one of several basketball-related stories. In Trenton, New Jersey, officials were calling for an investigation into security measures at an arena where a man was fatally stabbed in February 2023. And this occurred during a high school basketball tournament. Mercer County prosecutors say Khalil Glant, 23 of Trenton, was stabbed multiple times at the Cure Insurance Arena in Trenton at about 8:30 p.m. and was pronounced dead at a hospital shortly afterwards. Two brothers, Kareem Finney and Khalil Finney, both of Trenton, have been charged with first-degree murder and third-degree possession of a weapon for an unlawful purpose. The Trenton City Council, which said Monday that most of its members were at the game, called for a full and thorough investigation by the county, and part of this was to understand security measures that occurred that night and throughout the tournament. The council also wants Trenton police to investigate any possible security breakdowns or breaches. Mayor W. Reed Guscoria earlier called for the county to look into security breaches at the arena, saying officials must ensure adequate training for all county personnel who operate a metal detector. Another basketball game attack occurred when a 60-year-old man died in February 2023, shortly after participating in a brawl that broke out during a middle school basketball game. Police described the deceased, Russell Giroux, as a participant in a melee that unfolded after attendees rushed the court during a 7th and 8th grade game between Alburgh and St. Albans City. Police were called to the Alburgh Community Education Center just before 7 p.m. for a report of a large fight involving multiple spectators. When officers arrived, the fight had ended and some of the participants had left, including Giroux. He subsequently sought medical attention and an ambulance took him to the hospital. The next story is about crowd problems at a college ticket giveaway. Purdue University in Indiana had students and university officials concerned, and they were speaking out after a crowd crush ensued outside of Mackey Arena as students waited for hours to receive men's season basketball tickets. Two students were treated for minor injuries in the aftermath of the incident, which took place outside Mackey ahead of a women's basketball game. University President Meng Chiang released a statement on Twitter saying procedures for the annual event will change going forward. He said crowd management should have been much better. He also wrote, Purdue Athletics will shift to electronic methods for safe and fair allocation of golden tickets in the future. Crowd management training will be updated for all units and ticketing third party. Safety first. Chang also said that there will be more golden tickets for those who waited in line but did not receive their season tickets for the men's basketball season. Gabe McPhail, who waited in line for 8 hours in hopes of receiving a golden ticket, said preparation for the giveaway felt inadequate. They really didn't have any proper crowd control, he said. There really wasn't any line management until afterwards when, police started showing up. That is quite unfortunate. And that is why planning is so critical. You shouldn't be having these kind of discussions after an event that there wasn't adequate attendance by proper patron leaders. The next story is who's responsible for backstage security. The California Court of Appeals in January 2023 decided Live Nation was not legally liable for the death of Eric Johnson Jr., a Bay Area event promoter who was shot and killed during rapper Young G's Under the Influence of Music tour in 2014. According to the ruling, Live Nation had enough admissible evidence to establish that the shooting in the backstage area of the San Francisco area venue was not reasonably foreseeable, meaning they had no duty to prevent the third-party criminal attack on Johnson. Johnson's family had previously accused Live Nation of being legally negligent, citing that the entertainment company failed to provide enough security measures to prevent the shooting. The court ultimately decided the attack was not the kind of foreseeable occurrence that Live Nation was legally required to provide preventive measures for, as the family had suggested. Part of the holding was based on the fact that Young G's contract specifically provided for the rapper to be responsible for elements associated with security. It wasn't known who was the shooter, how they entered the venue, how they got a gun into the venue, and whether they entered through the backstage entrance or not. Live Nation faces a similar wrongful death case for the stabbing of Draco the Ruler at the 2021 Once Upon a Time Music Festival in Los Angeles. There also have been a couple deaths associated with soccer stampedes, and 2 people were killed in Iraq and dozens injured after a stampede. A stampede outside a stadium in Iraq left at least 2 people dead and dozens more injured in January 2023. Fans were gathered outside the Basra International Stadium to attend the final match in the first international soccer tournament held in the country in 4 decades. Iraqi Interior Minister in a statement had urged people who didn't have tickets for the match to leave the stadium area, saying that the facility was full and all the gates had been closed. Large screens had reportedly been placed in different public places in Basra to allow people to watch the match. The tournament, which started on January 6, 2023, faced several incidents, including chaos inside the VIP section, during which a Kuwaiti prince was not able to attend the opening match. A high school postpones its athletic events following a boys' basketball brawl. The Middletown, Connecticut Public School District postponed all home athletic events in January 2023 after a fight broke out at the end of a varsity boys' basketball game against Weaver High School. The school district said the decision was made out of an abundance of caution and that athletic events were planned to resume on a subsequent day. School officials said the district administration and the Middletown Police Department were made aware of a rumor of a threat of retaliation, which police deemed was unsubstantiated. An investigation was underway into the fight, as are several other measures being taken. Superintendent Vasquez Matos activated the high school's crisis team and had placed additional staff at the high school to support students and teachers as a result of the event. We had indicated in a prior news update a story about Indonesia and a stampede that occurred at a soccer event in 2022. The trial of these individuals occurred in 2023. Police officers and match officials in Indonesia were on trial in early 2023 in connection with a stadium stampede that killed more than 100 people in October 2022. These officers and 2 officials were being tried on charges of negligence over the alleged roles last year in the death of 135 people at a football match in East Java. According to the report, they each were facing a maximum prison sentence of 5 years if convicted over the disaster, one of the world's worst stadium stampedes ever. As a recap, on October 1st, police fired tear gas inside Kanjuruhan Stadium in Malang, where fans had run into the pitch after Arema Football Club, the home team, lost its match. There were no supporters from the rival team Persebaya Surabaya because of previous crowd issues. Amid the cloud of smoke, panicked people rushed for the exits, some of which were locked. Police described the incident as a riot and said 2 officers were killed, but survivors accused the police of overreacting. Video showed officers using force, kicking and hitting fans with batons, and pushing spectators back into the stands. An investigation team set up by Indonesia's President Joko Widodo, amid national outrage over the deaths, concluded that the tear gas was the main cause of the crowd surge. The investigator said police on duty did not know that the use of tear gas was banned as a crowd control measure at football matches and used it indiscriminately on the field, in the stands, and outside the stadium, causing more than 42,000 spectators inside the 36,000-seat stadium to rush to escape. That is the first sign that there was a potential problem when you have more spectators than seating would allow in the venue. In other soccer-related news, Belgium is attempting to control fan violence with new laws. Authorities in Belgium are looking for new ways to handle fan violence at soccer matches, as a record number of fans have been banned from stadiums for bad behavior over the past couple years. The sanctions are a clear signal that bad behavior has no place in our soccer stadiums, said Interior Minister Annelies Verlinde. According to the ministry's figures, the number of citations submitted by police during the 2021-22 season was not significantly higher than in 2018-2019 prior to the coronavirus outbreak, but the penalties were tougher. During the 2021 season, stadium bans for individual fans added up to a total of 22,037 months, almost double the 2018-19 total of 11,229 months. The total amount of fines also increased significantly from 540,525 euros, almost $585,000, to 910,250 euros, about 985,000. Thus, the number from 585,000 to 985,000 difference is almost double. Ministry officials have met in recent months with league and club officials to draft a new law aimed at reducing incidents. The Belgian government seeks to tighten access to stadiums and keep violent individuals away. It would also like to punish clubs for not complying with regulations on ticket sales or if they fail to take actions. Offenses such as physical violence, racism, or the use of fireworks would be punishable by stadium bans for up to 10 years instead of the current 5 years. State Farm Stadium wrestles with fire code violations ahead of the Super Bowl. As State Farm Stadium prepared to host the 2023 Super Bowl, facility operators were tasked with fixing numerous fire code violations at the Glendale, Arizona venue. An ABC 15 investigation looked at 190 inspections of the stadium over a 5-year period. The investigation found the State Farm failed 87 inspections, amounting to 46% failure rate. Some of the inspections saw 20 or more violations, even though just one violation can result in a failure. In September, stadium manager Andy Gorchov told ABC 15 that the problems would be fixed in a more timely manner and expressed hope that future inspections would see improved scores. That didn't appear to be the case, given that ABC 15 obtained State Farm inspections for August through December 2022, which found that State Farm Stadium failed 19 of 27 inspections. That is a 70% failure rate and is higher than the 5-year average. Nevertheless, the new investigation found that many of the violations were fixed either on the spot or within days of the visit. Two women were recently killed in a stampede at a Glorilla concert in Rochester. The two women are dead and another critically injured when a large crowd surged in early March 2023 following a concert at the Main Street Armory in Rochester. 3 women were taken by ambulance to a local hospital where one of the 3 was pronounced dead, according to Rochester police. On the Monday evening after the concert, another woman, whom police did not identify, died. Earlier in the day, police had said that the 2 35-year-old women, one from Syracuse and the other from Rochester, were in critical condition with life-threatening injuries. 7 additional concert goers were dropped off by private vehicles at area hospitals with injuries that were not considered life-threatening, but were related to the same incident, the police said. Just after 11 p.m. on Sunday night, after a concert featuring musician Glorilla ended, concert goers were leaving the venue when the crowd started to surge and rush towards the exit. said Rochester Chief of Police David Smith. There were reports of individuals hearing what they believed to be gunshots inside the venue, and that caused the crowd to panic. This is just one more example of how a noise, even a sudden noise, whether it is a gunshot or not, can cause some significant issues. And that's why it is important for individuals in a venue to be in constant state of communication with those in attendance to hopefully dispel any potential rumors that might be circulating that people might think there's a shooting when in fact there isn't a shooting. That's it for the news stories for early 2023. Thank you very much for listening to me try to read as fast as I can these news stories, but to get them to you in a timely manner. Be safe out there and stay healthy, everyone. Bye-bye.